Putin is once again testing NATO countries for strength. Russian missiles no longer recognize borders. These are the headlines in European newspapers after a Russian Kh-101 missile exploded in the Lublin voivodeship. Does this mean that the Russian threat to Europe is reaching a new level? What statements were made after this incident? And how is supporting Ukraine becoming, first and foremost, an investment in our partner's own security? Let's break it down. On the night of July 30th, during a massive Russian attack on Ukraine, a powerful explosion occurred in Poland. In the morning, the police reported that they had found a crater and debris, and soon after, it was announced that it was a Russian Kh-101 cruise missile that had crossed the country's airspace. Prime Minister Donald Tusk stated that the missile that fell was armed with a warhead and that the Air Force was ready to shoot it down if it had continued flying deeper into the territory. NATO stated that they are in close contact with the Polish armed forces because of the incident with the Russian missile and that appropriate conclusions will be drawn. By the way, the very first practical outcome after this incident was the announcement that Warsaw will soon consider providing Ukraine with additional missiles for the Patriot air defense systems.
Ukraine is indeed destroying Russian targets because it is at war with Russia. And it is in our interest to support it in these matters, taking into account our current needs in a way that strengthens our security. Therefore, after this incident, paradoxical as it may seem, I will discuss with the Minister of Defense as soon as possible how to further assist Ukraine, including involving additional Patriot systems if necessary, because our intention is to make sure that Ukraine does not lose this war.
The entry of a Russian missile into Polish airspace may not have been an accident, but rather a deliberate test of NATO's response. This opinion was expressed by Artur Bartkiewicz, the editor-in-chief of the influential Polish publication Rzeczpospolita. He recalled that the attack took place immediately after Volodymyr Zelensky's talks with the President of the United States and the Prime Minister of Poland about further support for Ukraine. And all of this only confirms that Warsaw's security directly depends on Ukraine's ability to repel Russian air attacks. That is why, the journalist believes, additional missiles for the Patriot systems should be used where they're able to intercept threats before they even approach the alliance's borders.
Missiles sitting in warehouses won't protect the skies over Poland. An independent, strong Ukraine that separates us from Russia serves Poland's strategic interests. Providing air defense systems to Ukraine also contributes to Poland's security, since Russian missiles are stopped before they reach NATO's borders. The fact that today this missile falls on Kyiv or Lviv and not on Warsaw doesn't change the fact that it is aimed at all of us, at the entire West. Artur Bartkiewicz in a column for Rzeczpospolita.
This week, the UK also announced further strengthening of Ukraine's defense capabilities. Immediately after taking office, Prime Minister Andy Burnham held talks with Volodymyr Zelensky aboard the aircraft carrier Queen Elizabeth. The main outcome of the meeting was the decision to transfer to Ukraine the technology for producing the British electronic warfare system Stonecloak, literally Stonecloak. This system, about the size of a tablet, is mounted on drones and helps them remain undetected by Russian air defenses. And this is not just a one-time military aid package. Kyiv, on equal footing with London, will participate in the development of advanced military technologies.
I made it very clear to President Zelensky that there are no changes. I will support him 100%, just as Keir Starmer did. He has done truly outstanding work, not only helping Ukraine, but also providing personal support. I will stand by him in exactly the same way. For several years, I have worked with Ukrainian mayors and created a support network for Ukrainian cities. I am bringing all this experience with me to my new position, and President Zelensky will have not the slightest doubt that the UK's support remains unwavering and resolute.
This week, the European Union also provided Ukraine with another tranche of aid, €3.5 billion, under the Ukraine Support Loan Mechanism. They will cover the main part of the contract for the purchase of 16 Gripen fighter jets. The remaining funds will be allocated for the purchase of drones, including long-range and jet-powered ones, as well as missiles and air defense systems. By the way, Sweden's defense minister Paul Johnson stated that the first 16 fighter jets, which make up an entire squadron, will be delivered to Kyiv as early as the beginning of next year. Ukrainian pilots and technical staff are already undergoing training, and this addition to the fleet will be a significant boost for the Ukrainian army. Unlike many other fighter jets that require fully equipped air bases, the Gripen can be based in a wide variety of locations. For takeoff and landing, it only needs a suitable stretch of road.
This will significantly increase the combat readiness of Ukrainian aviation compared to the aircraft currently in use. One of the main advantages of the Gripen is its ability to be based in a dispersed manner. These aircraft are not tied to large air bases, and they're rarely grounded due to engine failures or other technical issues. In addition, the Gripen is equipped with powerful electronic warfare systems.
All of this matches Ukraine's needs. President Zelensky has long appealed to us to make such a decision. I'm glad that it is now being implemented.
Despite the new decisions by its allies, Ukraine still has an urgent need to strengthen its air defense. Officials in Kyiv note that even the most advanced systems won't be able to effectively protect the skies without a constant resupply of interceptor missiles. That's why, as Volodymyr Zelensky emphasizes, one of Kyiv's main requests to its partners remains missiles for modern air defense systems.
This war could have ended a long time ago, but Putin doesn't want that. One moment he's looking for some kind of weapons in North Korea, then somewhere in Iran, then he's coming up with something else. All of it is just to keep the war going, to keep killing. Evil that can only be stopped by sufficient force. This has happened more than once in the history of our people, our nation. For the first time now, it's only the unity we've achieved, our maximum unity with the world, our cooperation, that gives us the ability in the 5th year of this full-scale war to keep protecting lives. Missiles for air defense, especially missiles for Patriot, as well as for NASAMS, Iris, Hawk, and our other systems, this is a key priority.
Since the start of Russia's full-scale invasion of Ukraine, Moldova has recorded 60 cases of illegal incursions into its airspace by Russian missiles and drones. This data is as of July 31st of this year. In Romania, 33 cases of Russian drones entering near the border with Ukraine have been recorded. And in Poland, for example, in September of last year, there was a hellish night when 19 Russian UAVs entered the country's territory at once. Recent events show that the war stopped being just Ukraine's problem a long time ago. If earlier aid to Kyiv was seen primarily as an act of solidarity, today, for European allies, it is becoming an integral part of their own security system.
Subscribe to UATV English and stay updated on the most important events, top news from Ukraine and all over the world, in-depth analysis, exclusive reports and interviews, all on hand in our channel. Join our community of viewers and stay tuned.